Guys, if I've taken you this far, I may as well take you all the way. So my Voron kit has arrived. I have every single printed part. I have every single part from the kit on the table. Take a look. Back to reality. So, why are these bars still here? Go. Seem to work. Alright guys, so if you have never seen a Voron kit, that's what it looks like. It comes in a box, and it's just tons and tons of bags. You have panel pieces, there's linear rails, tons of wires, there's the Raspberry Pi, there's a bunch of motors, there's the control, I mean there's everything. The only thing it doesn't have is every single connector piece that you have to 3D print. So obviously everyone knows the Voron kits come with pretty much everything that you need in terms of electronics and in terms of stuff you can't print. If it can be printed, it's going to be printed. So this box right here, this is a huge box. I mean, I've got tons and tons and tons and tons and more 3D printed parts. Now, I really hope that none of those broke. I really hope, because I don't want to print them again. But guys, so I used two different 3D printers. I used two Ender 6s, and I'll show you those in a minute. But I used two Ender 6s. I made 17 total build plates. I had an average of 4 to 7 items per build plate, and each build plate took about 3 to 4 hours. Now that is about how long it's going to take you to print a Voron 0.1, and as you can see, there's a huge mess. It's a lot of parts. So now that all of my printed parts are spread across the entire floor, you can see just how many bags of parts there are and just how many parts come in the kit. It is a huge undertaking, and while I am extremely excited to build this printer, I did not realize what I was getting myself into. This is going to be a lot of work. So these two Ender 6s are the two printers that I used to print the Voron parts. And guys, I know someone's going to post in the comments below that this is not safe. My house didn't burn down. I watched the printers the entire time. I was sitting in that seat as they were printing, and the house did not burn down. And also, all of that mess is mess that came from the Voron. It will be cleaned up very soon. Guys, I do not recommend you cover your printer with any kind of flammable material, but if you do want to print a Voron, then you need ABS, and if you don't want to buy an expensive enclosure, that cardboard box was free and it worked. So just a little tip in case anyone decides that they want to print a Voron themselves, take a look at my bags. So I have labels. These labels are the exact file name that came when I downloaded the Voron instruction guide, and those parts are what are in the bag. I absolutely do not recommend you print your parts and put them all in a box without labeling it. There are just too many parts, and I'm about to explain to you how I went through my entire printing process so I did not double print parts, and so I was able to know what I was printing while I was printing it, and how I labeled these parts. Okay, so this is not a sponsored video, it is not a sponsored printer, but I did intend to use MG Chemicals for my ABS for my entire printer. Now I have a roll of MG Chemicals white, and I also ordered a orange color in order to match my room, but as you can tell, this is a traffic cone and that is not a traffic cone. So right now all I printed in was white, and then I have a spool of eSun ABS Plus in black, so I went ahead and I used eSun ABS Plus black and MG Chemicals white. At some point I will reprint some of this printer in a color that matches the wall. Now I do have some PLA in a very, very similar color. I might end up printing some pieces in that in that spool, obviously pieces that go on the outside of the printer and not the inside of the printer. Now, my enclosures, guys, again, not going to get into the flammable nature of this. I don't believe this can possibly catch fire, but moving on from that, I printed everything in the ABS from eSun as well as MG Chemicals. I printed at 235 degree nozzle temperature and at 95 degree bed temperature, and it worked like a charm. So over here I have my very last plate of plastic pieces, and you can see I used a brim. I used 20 different wraparounds, or whatever you want to call it, 20 different lines around every single part. This way all of them fused together like a pancake. Now this is done in order to prevent warping. I would rather have a little bit of a brim on the outside of my part than I would have warped pieces that do not fit. Now when you remove the brim, you might have just a little bit of a nasty edge, and for that I have a deburring tool. If you've never seen one of these, it's a tool that spins, it's got a blade, and basically you can wrap the deburring tool all the way around the part in order to remove any nasty edges. Now the question remains, what did I do in order to keep track of all of the pieces I was printing when I was using two different printers? So this is what I did. I made an Excel document. I made a spot for a not printed, printed, currently printing, needs attention, and not applicable for print. So that is this entire document color coded. As you can see, everything is green, and that is because it's printed. So I now have this entire printer printed. But as I was printing, I made each different section this yellow tan color, and then I put a label on it, and I said left ender 6, or somewhere around here you'll be able to see right ender 6. This way I knew which STL files were on what printer. And I did that because I wanted to be able to come back over here when the parts came off of the print bed, and I could take my sticker paper that I have, which I printed off this same Excel document, and I could cut out the individual file names for every single model. That way I could then come back over here and paste it onto the bag. Now guys, if you do not have sticker paper, I would absolutely recommend that you just write this down on a piece of paper and then you drop the piece of paper in the bag, because when you open up the 150-page PDF document on how to build this printer, I promise you, you're going to get very, very frustrated whenever you're digging through trying to figure out what parts are what, and loading up the individual STL models on the computer and digging through like 50 or 60 parts in order to find the correct one. Anyway guys, this was just a status video on the VORON 0.1. I am still building the VORON 0.1 247 printing edition, and those pieces are not printed yet, but my goal first is to actually build the printer, get it printing any filament, get it printing anything, and once it's printing, I'm then going to go modify it and upgrade it into the 247 printing VORON, and I'm gonna obviously do some speed prints on that and just basically see. But like I said guys, this was just an update on that. This way you guys know where I'm at, what's gonna happen. Hopefully towards the middle to the end of March is when I'm gonna start building, and I will hopefully be live streaming that. And when I do, I will first be putting a community post out. This way you guys know when I'm gonna be doing it and you can join the stream. And obviously if you're unable to join the stream, then those videos are still going to be posted to the channel. But guys, like I said, this was just a status. Please put some comments below what you want to see with this printer. Give me some likes and subscribes. Tell your friends about it. You don't want to miss what's coming. Guys, I'm out. See ya.